Hello, I'm Aaron Pabone. This is Game Journalism Network here with a audio-only stream for Game Journalism Network. And we're here with an important announcement. As we mentioned earlier on Twitter, specifically through my personal Twitter at Aaron Pabone, Game Journalism Network is in the process of planning the next AirPlay event, AirPlay 2.0. They're still a working title. And yes, we've been actively talking with many people who are willing to help out with this, including Michael Koretsky from the Society of Professional Journalists, and he is the Region 3 director as well. Now, full disclosure, I've met with Koretsky in the past before AirPlay. He's actually taught me a couple of things at various journalism conferences in Florida, but we are going to be doing things a little bit differently. I'm still looking to SPJ to help us out when it comes to planning this event. I'm also looking to Michael Koretsky to help out with planning different areas of the event as well. But there will be differences from this AirPlay compared to the last one, and when we have a formal name for what this new AirPlay might be, we will announce that as well. So at this moment, we will call it AirPlay 2.0, and if the name sticks, the name sticks. If it doesn't, it doesn't. What we're planning on doing is this. We are, again, going to be inviting people from all sides of Gamergate, pro, neutral, anti, but we want to also expand on that area as well. We also want to invite in people from the gaming press who don't necessarily have a side, but representing the gaming press in general. We would also like to bring in journalists representing journalism as a whole. We also want to bring in video game developers representing video game development, and we also want to bring in the consumer. We want to bring in as many sides of the Gamergate argument as possible so we can have both an open discussion. At the same time, we can inform the general media and the general press what is actually going on. At the same notion, we are going to be inviting the general media from news to online news to mainstream media. They are welcome to attend. In fact, we encourage them to attend. This way, the more accurate report about what Gamergate is can be reported on. We also wish to invite the general public to attend as well. Now, we don't know what the exact location is going to be just yet, but what we can say is this. It will be in Florida, probably Central or North Florida. A more exact location will be announced soon. And we are planning to have this in February, possibly last weekend in February. The exact date would be, sorry, I have this written down, February 27th or the 28th, preferably on Saturday, the February 27th date. And again, more details will be announced at that moment as well. Now, this is where we need help from both sides of Gamergate. We are looking for people to invite, and we're looking for you to make any suggestions of 2.0. This could be anyone from, like we said, pro, neutral, anti. We want to hear any and all sides of the argument here at this next AirPlay event. At the same time, we will be hosting it as a live stream as well, specifically through the Game Journalism Network YouTube channel. Now, what will Game Journalism Network be doing on this live stream? Well, we will be moderating the debate in a different level. We will be moderating it not in the Oxford rule, as some people would say, but we're also not going to be having it as quick questions and answers or having situations like the last AirPlay. No, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be having pretty much asking the pro side of Gamergate what's going on, the anti side of Gamergate what's going on, and cross-examining these questions to find out what exactly is going on. As Game Journalism Network is taking a neutral stance, the questions are pretty much fair game to both sides. At the same time, we are offering the participants in the debate, to come in and mention their side of the argument and explain why they're on that side of the argument and what is that side of the argument. We're also going to be having questions on the stream, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the live chat, or you can ask on Twitter at AskGJN. That's ASKGJN with the beginning hashtag. Other than that, that's pretty much what we're planning to do with this new AirPlay event. We have talked to a few people ahead of time. John Smith has been one that people have been wanting to be brought in, and he's actually the first person I talked to about playing another AirPlay. He has agreed to help out, but again, we're still in talks. I can't speak on behalf of him. Again, I spoke to Koretsky about this. Sorry if I'm a little exasperated and out of breath. I'm actually doing this live stream on the fly. I Wasn't planning on doing this live stream. It's just something spur of the moment. But yes, we are planning it, and it will be happening specifically through the Game Journalism Network YouTube channel. If there are any questions, you must ask Game Journalism Network, or or if there's anything you wish to see at AirPlay 2.0, please let us know in the comments in the live chat or on Twitter using the hashtag AskGJN. Any and all questions are open for us. Yes, we will be making. We're going to be doing what we can to make sure another bomb threat doesn't happen again. I mean, we have no control over that. That's for sure. We have no control over that. If someone's going to troll this event, people are going to troll this event. I have no control over that. What we can do is this, though, is what Koretsky did, and what many people will always try to do is we will talk to the police ahead of time. We will talk to the location that we will be having AirPlay 2.0 ahead of time, making sure that, hey, safety is a priority, and there's a good chance that bomb threats are going to be called in. We'll talk to them ahead of time. Hopefully we can prevent a bomb threat from stopping AirPlay 2.0, but we're going to continue with it, and we'll be cooperating with the police, and we'll be cooperating with any local law enforcement to make sure that if it's a hoax, it's a hoax. It's investigated to its full to the fullest extent, and we'll make sure that nothing bad happens. We'll do everything we can, whether it be hire local security, bring in police officers. We're going to make sure that threats are checked accordingly, but at the same time, we can also dispel any threats that obviously would be fake and obviously are an attempt just to troll. Well, we'll be sending out personal invites as well. We're going to be talking to all sides of the argument, like we said before. I want to invite antis to show up if they can. I want to hear their side of the story. I want them to explain what's going on their side. And I'm not saying this, just so they have a voice so they can be heard or anything like that. I'm doing this as a journalist. So I'm doing this and exercising my due diligence to make sure that all sides of the argument are heard, which is, as a journalist, what I should be doing and what journalists should be doing in general. That being said, no antis come to mind. However, if anyone who's against Gamergate and what it stands for wishes to be a panelist at AirPlay, you can email me at gamejournalismnetwork@gmail.com. Yeah. Also, if anyone has any questions they wish to ask, I'm sorry. Also, if anyone has any suggestions on who should be invited to AirPlay 2.0, pro, neutral, or what have you, please send a message to gamejournalismnetwork@gmail.com. Again, what we're hoping to have is not just pros, not just neutrals, and not just antis at the argument, but we want people representing different areas of where Gamergate has been an issue from. For example, we would like to invite someone to represent gaming journalism. They don't necessarily have to take a side. We just someone representing gaming journalism. We want someone representing the gaming public. We want someone representing journalism as a whole. Hopefully we can get Ren LaForme or Lynn Walsh in again. I would love to have them back as panelists. I'm pretty sure they will love to come back and panel an event like this. They seemed very interested when they were there. I would like to get Derek Smart back. I would like to get Mark Seb back as a panelist. I would like to get Molly Nopoulos back. There's a lot of people I would like to have return, but I also want to bring in new people who I feel are also going to help this debate in more ways than one. And this is not necessarily to help Gamergate. This is more so that the general public and the media can understand what Gamergate is. So they can understand how movements like this can be reported on, and so there's a better understanding on how social movements like this can be thoroughly reported on. There's been a lot of miscommunication with Gamergate on both sides. There's been a lot of misrepresentation on both sides, and there's been a lot of misreporting on both sides. Even recently, the unfortunate shooting with 2 journalists, that got misattributed to Gamergate. I was in a live stream yesterday talking about that. And these are things that need to be discussed and talked about at an event like 2.0, it's not just to bring awareness to Gamergate, but it's also to bring awareness to the issue of ethics in journalism and how these events can be reported. Checking what other questions we might have. I'm checking different the accounts. Will the GJN sit around on its ass like the UN? I'm not sure what you mean by that, but the plan is we would be moderating the debate as well. Pretty much we're going to be asking, again, I'm repeating myself, we're going to be asking both sides of the argument some obvious questions, but we're also going to be cross-examining these questions as well. At the same time, we're going to propose questions to both sides, i.e., how do you explain Gamergate to the media, or how will the media explain Gamergate to the anti-side, vice versa. And if we do notice any inconsistencies or something that we won't understand, we would cross-examine. We want to understand all sides of the argument. William Usher, yes, that's someone I would like to bring in as a panelist as well. He was actually one of the people who was originally going to be at the original AirPlay. Hopefully he can come in for this. Bring in mainstream media journalists that did the hit pieces. You know what? I would like to send him an invite as well. I would actually like to send invites to people who reported on Gamergate, both in the proper way and in the improper way, and see if anything's changed since then. There's a lot of people who are trying to understand all sides of this argument, and there's a lot of journalists who do not understand what's going on. And there may have been journalists who took an aggressive anti-side for unknown reasons, but I would like to bring them in for this debate as well. Okay, so bringing back the same people to say the same things again. Now, here's the thing. When we're going to talk about Gamergate, the same things are going to be said again in some level, shape, or form. Again, we're going to be saying ethics in gaming journalism. Again, someone's going to be saying, well, what about this and what about that? And yes, some things will be repeated. However, we would be asking new questions, and we would be making sure that new questions and new things are heard of in this argument. But at the same time, we do want to expand it and have different people for this debate. The last AirPlay didn't get to have the stuff people brought up only scratch the surface. Well, it scratched the surface, yes, but I'm hoping we can put a dent in it and maybe put a hole in it. I mean, look, the point of this whole thing is going to be essentially to talk about what the key issue is. We want to talk to the press. We want to make sure that the media understands how to report on this. And we want to keep going with this as well. We want to keep going with the conversation more than anything. Where are we planning to get the money from? That's a very good question. I don't know. Koretsky was pretty candid about this. He's mentioned this before, that he was, I think, given an operating budget to operate AirPlay. At the same time, he had to go into, I think he invested some of his own money, just a little bit. I'm not entirely sure where we're going to be getting the money from. Now, I'm not asking for money from the public yet, and I'm not shilling out or anything like that. What we are going to do is this, though. We are going to talk to people. We're probably going to ask if people can invest money into the speakers for them to come in. How they do that is up to them and whatnot. We'll probably be doing the same thing. We are going to be talking to people about getting funding in some way, shape, or form. If people want to give money to GJN and or AirPlay 2.0, they're more than welcome to. I'm not sure how we're doing that just yet. But we are talking to, I'm talking to Koretsky. We're talking to people who might be able to give us locations for free. We're talking to locations who might be interested in hosting this debate. We might be talking to local colleges. That's stuff that's still up in the air. Personally, and this is something that myself and John Smith talked about, is what we would like to do is we'd like to host it in Tampa at I forgot what building it is, but we want to host it in Tampa. And that might cost a pretty penny. We're not sure yet. But we'll figure out money in the long run. Who else are we going to invite to the stream? Well, actually, I'm trying to see who can come into the stream at the moment right now. If anyone wants to talk and help plan this out, they're more than welcome to. Again, I just talked to Koretsky very recently, a couple of days ago. This is something that, yes, we do plan on doing it. We are making this announcement to pretty much cement that, yes, we are doing this. We are actively planning it. And we're having this open discussion and putting it online live so people can understand that, this is going to, the conversation can continue. As for, okay, what we want them to talk about. Well, I don't know what I'm going to have them to talk about. It's up to them what they want to say and what they want to mention. We're going to be asking fair and balanced questions to both sides. We're going to ask the most pertinent questions, and we're going to be cross-examining those questions. Whatever they talk about, whatever they answer is up to them. But we will bring up key moments in Gamergate that will be of open discussion, some of which would include Game Journalist Pro, some of which will include Patreon and crowdfunding and how that's being used in some way, shape, or form. Censorship tactics. We're going to be talking about a variety of issues that would be bringing up, that would be brought up to both the media and Gamergate as a whole. The only plan would be to talk to local police to prevent stupid bomb threats. To prevent bomb threats in that nature. The only thing we can do is talk to the police ahead of time, talk to location ahead of time. Not disclosing locations yet. Again, we're looking at locations in Tampa. We're looking at locations in Central Florida. We're looking at locations in North Florida. When we talk to them, we'll figure that out ahead of time. But one thing we will bring up is that someone will probably make a fake bomb threat. We'll be talking to local authorities ahead of time, and we'll be talking to the building managers or whoever's doing this ahead of time. Personally, I was okay with Koretsky moderating the panel, but I would actually like Koretsky to be a panelist if possible. Yes, he is helping plan this event. I am talking with him to see what he did to plan the original AirPlay. He has expressed interest in helping out. But Game Journalism Network will be moderating the panel itself. I'm using a bad example, but we're essentially doing what CNN does or what Fox News does or what MSNBC does for presidential debates. We will be the hosting channel. We will be hosting the stream. We'll be hosting the debate itself. We'll be moderating the debate, but we're making it very clear that we want a neutral journalistic party to moderate this debate and ask even-handed questions to both sides. With Game Journalism Network, we made every effort we can to be a neutral party when it comes to talking about Gamergate. Personally, and this is myself, Aaron Pabon, myself as someone who, this is my disclosure, I am pro Gamergate. I believe in a push for ethics in gaming journalism. However, whenever I've done research and whenever I've done a report and when I'm representing Game Journalism Network, I have taken a step back and made a neutral stance on the argument and had to be neutral because as a journalist, that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm not supposed to let my personal actions weigh in any way, shape, or form. The only thing I can do is report on the news fair and evenly as possible. That being said, we are going to be moderating the debate, but we will be fair and even and balanced in every way we can when it comes to moderating this debate by asking fair questions to both sides. But yes, I would like Koretsky to be a panelist if possible. Maybe representing SPJ because he is the SPJ Region 3 director, or maybe representing journalism as a whole. He's probably someone who would ask, fair questions when it comes to being a panelist. He's probably someone who's also going to bring in really interesting responses as a panelist as well. Again, the idea would be to host this sometime in February. It is a working date. We're not entirely sure yet, but when we have a formal do it in February. Yeah, well, I've been talking with John. I think he's actually on the game. I think he's actually on the live chat on the YouTube channel. But yes, I've been talking with John Smith. Last time I checked, he was interested in this. I believe he's still interested in this. John, if you're on the chat, can you confirm if you're still interested in this? I would like to have him back to help out with organizing the live stream itself. But he is planning on helping out behind the scenes. So, John, if you're in the chat, do a quick confirmation if you're still interested in helping out. I don't even know if he's still on the chat anymore. But when I get confirmation from him, I'll let you know. As far as I know, oh yeah, he is. He is still interested in helping out with this. Maybe I can bring John into the chat in a little bit. Do we have any other questions? Yeah, Gamergate is pretty much political. Almost anything's political, really. But we're going to be asking fair questions to both sides. And I guess a good example of this will be pretty much we're going to be asking pro-Gamergate questions to pro-Gamergaters. We're going to be asking anti-Gamergate questions to anti-Gamergaters. We want to hear their sides of the argument. But at the same time, we want to ask those anti-questions to the pro side, and we want to ask those pro sides to the anti side, and then have each of them have a rebuttal. But that's pretty much what we're planning on doing. But we're going to be asking questions on a variety of areas involving Gamergate to a variety of panelists who are representing different areas of Gamergate. Again, we don't just want pros, neutrals, and antis here. We want people representing the video game industry. We want people representing the video game press industry. We want people recovering from being sick. That's me. I'm recovering from being sick. We want people representing different areas of Gamergate. We even want people representing the gaming public. We want people representing all these areas so we can have a clear understanding of everywhere Gamergate's been affected by, and so also it can be accurately reported to the media, and so people can understand what's actually going on. Okay, looking at other questions. Yes, John is interested. AirPlay took a lot out of his thing. John, yeah, I want you to help out with tech if possible, but and helping with planning. And John and I will be having conversations later on down the road about this. So yeah, there's that. I'm looking back at the YouTube chat. What else we got here? Oh, hello again, Paulo. Game Diviner again. Full disclosure, talked to him a couple of times before, during, and after AirPlay. Is 2.0 going to be with a larger SPJ conference, just like the first SPJ AirPlay 1? Okay, wow, John beat me to answering that. Yeah, it's going to be independently hosted by Game Journalism Network, and it's going to be featuring members of SPJ as panelists. Now, if we can get the assistance of the SPJ, awesome. Again, that's why I'm talking to Koretsky to see what will happen again. But let's see what happens in the long run. As of this moment, it's just AirPlay. There's no SPJ involvement. The closest thing we have to SPJ involvement just happens to be one of the members helping us out. But SPJ is not involved in any way, shape, or form just yet. We are actively talking to Koretsky, who hopefully will be able to talk to SPJ, and hopefully we can get the assistance of the SPJ. I actively want to be talking to the SPJ very soon because I have expressed interest in trying to write an ethics policy, the code of ethics policy for gaming journalists for all of us to abide by. And hopefully it'll be something that can be done within the SPJ community, and hopefully it can be something that can be mentioned to and implemented to many areas of the gaming press. How will I convince anti-gamer gators to participate if Koretsky couldn't? Okay, well, Koretsky did invite people who were way up there on the list. Anita Sarkeesian was one of them. I think Arthur Chu was one of them. I think it was Arthur Chu. And I think it was a couple of people from the actual gaming press who were invited but did not want to attend. But there were people who did express interest later on the road, unfortunately, towards the tail end. I would start with them first. But again, we'll just try. We'll just try to get people from the anti side to show up. And look, if the antis don't show up, it's nobody's loss. It's their loss if they show up or not. I'm sorry, it's their loss if they don't show up, but it's nobody's loss if they do or don't show up. We just want someone who wants to be there and talk about the anti side. We want to understand all sides of Gamergate on Game Journalism Network. We're just trying to do fair and balanced reporting. That's it. And the story, I mean, we'll see what happens if we can invite them. I'm sorry, I'm looking at YouTube stuff. Let each side explain Gamergate in 5 to 10 minutes at the start of the panel, maybe 100 words on the side or whatever. Actually, yes, that's something that in one of my notes here, actually, what we want to do is we want to give every person in the beginning 5 minutes and under to explain their side in Gamergate in some way, shape, or form. Again, that time will adjust, and we'll be mentioning some things like that ahead of time for them to come up and explain either their side of Gamergate in some way, shape, or form, or explain Gamergate as a whole in some way, shape, or form. That's pretty much what we're going to do. How will you accomplish a show of different sides? Well, CanMex, I'm not sure if I understand your question. To accomplish to show the different sides, if you can restate that, please. Aaron, we may be interested in sending someone, if that's cool. Aaron, that's more than anyone can attend. As far as I know, whatever location we will get, I would like for it to be open for people to come in and sit in the audience, even suggest questions. We will not be the only ones to live stream this. We would like to have other people live streaming as well. So if you want to come in and if you want to live stream, you're more than welcome to. We're gonna try to plan this out to be as open as possible. However, we will keep safety in mind because we don't want another false flag alert in some way, shape, or form. Mike Van Sickler from the Miami Times, Rich Robinson from Rise My News to join. Yeah, Rich Robinson is someone I would love to have in. I would like to talk to Stephen Totillo again, either to get comments from him or even invite him as well, if he can. If he can't, it's up to him. Concentrate more on journalists and questions around the likes of Chu, Anita, Shire, Leia, Hernandez. You know, first of all, I would like to invite Totillo, Schreier, Leia, or Hernandez. They're probably not going to show up. I would love for them to show up in some way, shape, or form, and ask them questions, ask fair questions. However, due to the situation we're in now, there will be questions related to them. Just roll with Leo the Pirates video that explains Gamergate in 60 seconds. You know, I might have some video, some B-roll that explains different areas of Gamergate in different areas. Try setting up a board of Twitter to get more questions. Yeah, actually, if anyone on Twitter wishes to ask any questions, use the hashtag AskGJN. I'm actively searching that for some questions as well. I'm also getting some questions in different areas as well. When you get a bomb threat, will you have another location? We will. All right. If a bomb threat does happen and it does put a kink in any chain to this, we will try to have contingency plans in place. I don't know what they will be. I don't know what those contingency plans will be, but we will keep them at our discretion. And if there is any issue, we will use whatever plans we have as backups. But yeah, we will try to have some backup plan in some way, shape, or form. Give me checking for other questions elsewhere. Okay, yeah, you can. What we're doing is pretty much this. We will have the live stream on Game Journalism Network's YouTube channel. That will be on this channel you're on. Without sounding like a shill, please subscribe to this channel if you want to know more, if you want to be up to date on everything involving Gamergate that we cover. At the same time, what we are going to be doing is, again, we're going to live stream through this YouTube channel. How will you ensure that the anti-shy will show up? Well, I can't ensure anything. The only thing I can do is talk to them, let them know what's going on. There are people on the anti-side who want to debate with Gamergate. I believe that there's people on the anti-side who are willing to show up. Offer them money? Well, no, we're not offering anybody money. We're not going to do that. How they get here is up to them. We'll probably have people start their own GoFundMe campaign so they can send people over there. Yeah, we're hoping to update the tech as much as possible. We're hoping to talk to people who are tech savvy into doing proper streams, video and audio and whatnot alike. Well, if that's true, I'll talk to if Arthur Chu expects regret for not joining AirPlay 1.0, then I will talk to him and see if he's interested in coming up. There's a lot of people I would love to bring in this conversation. Again, there's a lot of wishes, but the only thing we can do is talk to them, ask, and see who's interested in showing up. What I would like to do more than anything is, again, we need to keep the conversation going. AirPlay started a conversation based on a movement that was encompassing of a lot of areas in the gaming press industry, the video game industry, and in different areas as well. What I want to essentially do is continue this conversation. Hopefully we can bring in some ethical change in gaming journalism and journalism as a whole. I'm hoping that people can understand how to cover hashtag movements like this, because there's been a lot of confusion on how this is happening. We're seeing a breakdown in not just the gaming press. We're seeing a breakdown in press in general. And hopefully with AirPlay 2.0 or whatever the heck we call it, with or without SPJ's help, we just want to continue the conversation that's already started a year ago, and we want to make sure that these ethical changes happen. Not just with AirPlay 2.0, but with starting YouTube channels like I did. There are people out there, a couple of years ago, I detested the idea of citizen journalists because, growing up, I always felt that, you should go to school to become a journalist. You should understand how the journalism industry works. You should understand these ethics and how they work. I've been a freelance journalist for almost 10 years now, 9 to 10 years. And I've done everything I can to be a prim and proper journalist. I've done everything I can to expose the truth, talk about what's actually going on, inform the public, fact over nonsense. That's all I've been trying to do. Have I made mistakes before as a journalist? Yes. And you know what? I've moved on. The only thing I can do is continue being a prim and proper journalist. That's the only thing I could do. Yeah, I paid for those mistakes. It may have cost me a job or two. It may have cost me people working with me. But you know what? I've done everything I could to be a proper journalist. What upsets me the most is there are people in this industry who failed at their job, who went to school, and maybe they didn't graduate top of their class. Maybe they graduated bottom of their class, and they're just lousy journalists. But there are people out there who actively graduated from prestigious universities and colleges and are failing at their job left and right. And you know what? It saddens and upsets me that that was actively happening. And for years, I always thought citizen journalism was the worst thing ever. It goes down to the whole, well, would you trust a citizen doctor? Would you trust a citizen surgeon? Would you trust a citizen lawyer? That's not how it works. You go to school for this. But, now, within the past couple of years, there have been citizen journalists and people going on YouTube and going online and starting WordPresses and doing the job that journalists who went to school, they're doing the proper job. And the ones who are trying, who work for this industry for years, are failing at their job. And you know what? Yeah, I've had to do something about it. That's why I started this YouTube channel. It wasn't for a pro side of the argument. It wasn't for an anti side of the argument. It was just so I could report on Gamergate fair and accurately, because no one else was doing the job right. And yeah, that's the problem with current journalism. That's why I want to continue AirPlay 2.0. That's why I want to continue this conversation. Yeah, I just Aaron Sorkin that whole speech for some friggin' reason. I don't know why. Has there been confirmation on who is on the panel yet? I've talked to some people, and there are other people who are actively talking to other people. I can't confirm anyone yet, but when I can, I will make announcements later on down the road. Will this be a formal or informal debate? A little bit of both. There'll be questions proposed ahead of time. There'll be questions that'll be proposed on the spot, and there will be a certain time limit to answer certain questions. But we'll also have moments where it'll be open questions and open answers without a time limit. Again, these rules are currently in development. We're kind of hybriding it out from Oxford rules and other types of debate rules and informal rules. Again, these things will be announced and talked to ahead of time. Oh, this is a very good question. Again, I just checked Twitter. If you have any questions you want to ask on Twitter, use the hashtag AskGJN. That's ASK, G as in game, J as in journalism, N as in network. At King Ruckus asked, the harassment issue, I hate to even bring it up, but how quickly will it be addressed so that the real topic can be? Well, we will talk about the harassment issue, but it'll be simple questions to both sides. And the reason why I'm asking both sides of the argument, the harassment issue, is this. Because to be quite frank, both sides of Gamergate have been harassed. Just even using the hashtag opens you up to harassment, unfortunately. So we do have to ask the harassment question, but we're not asking for anyone to apologize on anything. We're not asking anyone to say if they're for or against harassment. We just want to know who's been harassed and why, and what sides of the what sides have been harassed in different areas. We want we want the pro side to talk about how they've been harassed. We want the anti side to talk about how they've been harassed, and we also even want to know if they can even bring up examples of harassment that they've received. Again, these are questions that'll be proposed later on, but we will ask the harassment question to ask about everything else involving Gamergate, since whether harassment happened or not, it's kind of up in the air. Some people have even, actually someone just posted it on YouTube, disagreeing is not harassment. Well, we want to know what is considered harassment from both sides, and we want to understand what's going on. Yeah, if you want to tweet at me, oh man, getting over from being sick and drinking medicine now, lovely. Yes, if you want to tweet at me, it's at Aaron Pabone. If you want to tweet the hashtag that I'm using to check out questions, it's hashtag AskGJN, Game Journalism Network. Hashtag AskGJN. We'll be continuing this stream for another 15 minutes before we wrap it up. But yeah, pretty much we're going to go into an open, we've been doing a Q&A at this point. So if anyone has any other questions, you can ask. Oh, I would not mind asking if Nina Sarkeesian would be involved in this debate. If she wants to show up, she's more than welcome to. I would love for her to be in this debate. she's probably going to say no, but I will ask the question openly. Anita Sarkeesian, if you wish to join in on the debate, please, you're more than welcome to. You can message me at gamejournalismnetwork@gmail.com. However, I mean, if she shows up, awesome. I'm not, to be quite honest, I'm not holding my breath. I've emailed her in the past to interview her for Game Journalism Network. I've wanted to hear her side of the story. I want to understand what she's going through. I want to understand everything that she's going through with Feminist Frequency. I want to understand what's going on with her area when it comes to Gamergate. I want to understand why she's against Gamergate. I want to ask her fair questions. I would love for her to be on the panel. If she shows up, awesome. She's probably not. What do I think of her? Oh, wow. Okay, I saw the new video. You know, I'm going to be pretty candid about it. I've never 100% agreed with Anita Sarkeesian's videos. A lot of her videos, personally, I think the research needs to be re-researched. I think that a lot of her videos are very one-sided. Wow. Yeah, you know, I've never really was a fan of her videos. I did see the new video. She did bring up some, you know, I will admit, she did bring up some fair points. However, whatever narrative is there, you know, okay. You know, whatever the video game creator puts into the game, I have no control over that. And you know what? It's up to new game creators to create new content, to create new narratives, to create new stories. I would love for, you know, video games to be a little bit more realistic, you know, but here's the thing. It's entertainment. A lot of things that are being put into these video games are entertainment. A lot of them are fictionalized, and it's up to the person who plays the video game to have that understanding what's real and what isn't. And if they're playing a video game and they're thinking that, oh, I can harass women, I don't think that's the video game's fault. I think that's the person's upbringing fault. I've understood that, you know, picking up a hooker in a video game versus picking up a hooker in real life are very different things. And, you know, to be quite frank, if it's going to help me revitalize my health in a video game, I'm going to pick up a hooker. In real life, I think it works the other way around. I think you lose money, and I think you actually lose health. That's just my opinion on the matter. However, you know, I thought this new video that she did actually did have some fair and balanced research that she did. I felt that this video was actually more what if her videos in the past were like the video she did now. I think there would be a different Anita Sarkeesian we'd be looking at now. Her past videos I never cared for. Her previous research I felt was always shoddy at best. But you know what? That's my 2 cents on the matter, and I don't even know why I'm talking about it. Anita will never show. I would love for Anita to show up to AirPlay 2.0. I just gave an open invite for it. Please, online trolls, do not threaten her. I just want, I mean, do not threaten, you know, no one should be threatened. No one should be harassed. If you can, if you don't troll her, she might actually come to this. I would love for her to show up to AirPlay 2.0. She's probably not going to show up, but there's an open invite. Anita, please send me an email at gamejournalismnetwork@gmail.com. I would even love to interview you for the show. I would love to hear your side of the argument. You can ask me the questions. I'll ask you maybe 1 or 2. I'll even bet the questions ahead of time, and I'll ask you fair questions. I just, you know, that'd be a cool interview to have. I would love to have her as a panelist. Have Brianna Wu. You know what? If she can show up, awesome. You know, Anita, Brianna Wu, Chu, anybody on the anti side, it's an open invite. Look, I'll make it very clear. This is an open invite. It's going to be an open conversation. It's going to be live streamed online. You're getting an opportunity to, A, defend your side of the argument, explain your side of the argument, and if you care about your side of the argument, I would suggest showing up to AirPlay 2.0. Well, okay, I can't speak on behalf of them. It's up to them to show up. No, I cannot give out papers that define harassment or anything else to panelists beforehand because that would actually be leading the panelists. I want to have their own raw answers. They're on the spot when it comes to answering these questions. They need to do their own research ahead of time, and whatever they answer, they answer. I can't lead the questionings or answers like that. Anyone can show up. Look, if you have any suggestions for the anti-side, please send an email at gamejournalismnetwork@gmail.com. You can tweet it to us. You can message us on YouTube. We want anybody for any side of the argument. Again, we do not just want pros, neutrals, or antis. If we can get someone to represent the video gaming press, awesome. If we can get someone to represent the video gaming public, awesome. If we can get someone to represent the video game industry, awesome. If we can get someone to represent journalism as a whole, awesome. Again, let's get the people from SPJ to show up again. Lynn Walsh and Ren LaForme. Well, Ren LaForme wasn't from SPJ, but he was a teacher. He's a teacher at Pointer. I would like to have him back. I would like to have these people back. And heck, even if Lynn Walsh wants to commentate or moderate the debate as well, she's more than welcome to. I would love people to represent different areas, not just the pro, neutral, or anti. That's pretty much what we're doing. We're just going to be moderating. That's it. End of story. You know what, Paulo, you're bringing up an excellent point. Who we want to be careful who comes in. We would vet them ahead of time. I would like to vet them ahead of time to make sure trolling doesn't happen. And if, to be quite frank, someone is on stage trolling like that, then they will be escorted off the stage because we don't have time for that. I don't want people wasting anybody's time because they're not going to be wasting my time and their time. They're going to be wasting everybody's time who's there. Anyone who is out there trolling is going to have a different issue. Yeah, I just called out trolls online. I just put myself out there. But you know what? I'm doing what I can to continue this conversation. That's all we can do. We'll vet the speakers ahead of time. We'll vet the panelists ahead of time. And we'll figure it out ahead of time. There's reasonable people from Anti-Gamergate I think we can talk to ahead of time. Again, open to any suggestions. Trolls only work online. I don't know. With what just happened with WSB TV, that wasn't necessarily online. They were in front of the media when they trolled. I mean, trolling can happen anywhere nowadays. Again, like I said, I've been a journalist for 9 years. I'm just trying to continue this conversation, because I believe in what journalism is. I believe in what journalism could be. And you know what? Call me a damn fool for believing in it. That's all I believe in. I just believe in this industry, and I believe where it can go forward. I have no reasoning for doing Game Journalism Network except for the fact that I believe in journalism. That's all it is. I have other projects I would much rather be doing. I have a career. I have a job. This is what I'm doing on my free time. And you know what? When we're done with AirPlay 2.0, let's see what happens afterwards. I'm hoping, at least, yeah, we scratched the surface last time. I'm hoping we can dent and make a hole. That's what I'm hoping we can do. I'm hoping we can do some kind of positive effect. Give me a couple of seconds. crap. Give me a couple of seconds. I'll be right back. We're not ending the stream. Just give me a couple of seconds. Sorry about that. I'm back. Again, we'll see what happens with AirPlay 2.0. But look, Game Journalism Network was not solely designed to be about. It was originally solely designed to be about Gamergate. Yes, I wanted to cover Gamergate as a whole, but I feel we can keep going. I feel we can ask other questions, and I feel we can keep and you know what? I started Game Journalism Network as an example on how you can cover Gamergate. And it's been to the point where it's not just Gamergate. I feel like we can take Game Journalism Network to a different level. I made it very clear in the last video we did that we were going to be covering a Tokyo Game Show. We're going to be live streaming. We're going to be talking about what's going on at Tokyo Game Show. And what we're hoping to do is we're hoping to cover the video game industry as a whole. We're hoping to we're hoping to show people how video game journalism can actually work. We want to take this new medium and we want to evolve it. We want to keep going with it. So yeah, I mean, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep trying. We're going to do what we can when it comes to covering video games. And it's not just, covering, it's not just saying, oh, this new video game is coming out this week. No, we want to ask serious questions in the video gaming world that no one else is asking. A good example I've been using has been the new Star Wars Battlefront game. It's getting all these high allocates. A lot of people are giving it positive coverage in the gaming press. Yet, if you ask fans of Star Wars Battlefront, and if you ask Star Wars fans, a lot of them are not 100% interested in this game. A lot of people don't even like the new Battlefront game because of various issues. One of the various issues is that there's no space combat. There's a lot of the original gameplay that made the original Battlefront is gone. And a lot of people are wondering if this game is going to be successful or not. No one's really talking about that in the gaming press. And that's something that should be talked about, and no one is. And, it's something that, we're considering doing a write-up on. It's something we're considering doing a video on later on down the road. Now, this is something that this is an example, obviously, but we want to cover more. We want to know from the public what they would like to see covered when it comes to video game journalism. We would like to go to events like E3 and Tokyo Game Show and all these other events later on the road. And if we can't go, at least live stream. We want to know how this industry should be covered, and we would like to express ourselves in that way. We would like to cover E3 the way the public wants E3 to be covered. We want to know how you think E3 should be covered, not just showing off new video games, but also figuring out what's going on in the industry as a whole. We're not going to review video games because I'm a journalist. I should not be reviewing video games. The people who should be reviewing video games are you, the viewers, you, the public. Your opinion is what matters, not what I think. Personally, yeah, I can like a video game, but if I review that video game, that makes me biased, and I'm supposed to be a journalist. Could we bring in a columnist to review a specific video game genre? Yeah, we probably could, but he should not be covering the news. A good example could be the new Metal Gear Solid 5. Metal Gear Solid 5 is coming out. I love Metal Gear. I love the Metal Gear saga. If I was to review it, I would probably give it a perfect score. I haven't played it yet. I don't know, but if I was to do that, that makes me biased to Metal Gear, and at that point I would recuse myself. Oh yeah, no, totally. Look, there's a lot of things that need to be covered and talked about that no one's talking about, and we're hoping Game Journalism Network can do that. We're looking for people to help out and volunteer in different ways. we're going to expand on it more. How we do that later on in the road, well, give me suggestions. I'm open to pretty much anything when it comes to this network, but we're going to continue conducting ourselves as such. We are going to be covering Tokyo Game Show. It's probably going to be a live stream of in between announcements. We're probably going to be talking to the public and see what people think about Tokyo Game Show, about what games are coming out. That's pretty much what we can do at the moment. But yeah, we're going to be talking about other areas in gaming journalism that aren't being covered, and we're going to go from there. Yes, I am a journalist. I'm not just saying that because I went to journalism school. No, I've had a passion for journalism for years. I consider myself a journalist because I've trained myself to be a journalist. I went to school to be a journalist. I was in charge of a student newspaper back in college. I worked for 2 different college newspapers. I've worked for various areas in the press. I've been a consulting writer for a couple of newspapers as well. I've been brought on board as an analyst for a couple of news sites as well. I've covered different areas of the press. Ironically, I have not been a gaming journalist. I have reviewed video games a couple of times, but that's been about it, and that's been pretty much it. But I think I'm more of a journalist than what most people can say right now. I mean, not to name names, but if you've graduated from a prestigious journalism school, why are you not giving a shit about ethics in journalism? Yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah, no, we're going to continue discussing AirPlay 2.0. We're going to be talking to people down the road. We'll make formal announcements as they happen. All AirPlay 2.0 announcements will be made on this YouTube channel. So, shamelessly plugging myself, please subscribe to Game Journalism Network. That's how you'll be getting updates. There's also my Twitter account at Aaron Pabone, so you can follow me on there. I'll be posting Game Journalism Network updates there. We will be eventually making another Twitter specifically for Game Journalism Network for people to follow. And we'll be having a website also set up in the future. So yeah, for the time being, you can subscribe to this YouTube channel. This is where you'll be able to this is where we'll be able to get updates on AirPlay 2.0. So yeah, let's see what happens. We'll be talking to people. We'll be inviting them. We're also open to suggestions. If you have any questions, you can ask through YouTube. You can ask through Game Journalism Network at gmail.com. If you have suggestions, you can ask through that same email. And if you want to help out, send us an email as well. We're looking for people to volunteer. We're looking for people to talk to people. We're looking for people to speak as panelists in different areas. If you have any questions on how you can help out, again, the email is gamejournalismnetwork@gmail.com. Anyway, this is Aaron Pabone from Game Journalism Network signing off. Have a good one.